Hi everybody, Westlake. Thanks for checking in to my Facebook Live. I am so excited tonight because I got my first real live celebrity. Well, I think everybody, all my guests that I've had before on lives are considered celebrities, but this is a real celebrity, right? I mean, this is a guy that we've watched before, possibly in concert, on television, the whole nine yards. Greg Upchurch with Three Doors Down, and I'm so excited to have him come on. He should be coming on here in just a few minutes. And Greg's going to share his life story. It's kind of inspiring to see a guy come from a small town, right? I mean, a small town. I grew up in a small town called West Liberty, and I think we have about 1,300. Greg grew up in a small town called Kingston, Oklahoma, a town of 800 with one stoplight, right? I mean, we had three in my small town, but he had one stoplight, and he'll share with you how he actually, you couldn't just walk to the neighbor's house because the nearest neighbor was quite a few. So kind of interesting to hear where he came from a small community like that to traveling the world today, living out his dream. And he should be popping on here. There he is. Hi, Greg.
Hi.
Hey, man. I was just sharing with everybody where you're from, small community, and I want to jump right into this because it's very inspiring to somebody from a small rural community, and you can relate to see somebody make it big. I mean, in our eyes, you've made it big. You probably don't see it that way, but I mean, you broke out of the norm of life and you're living your dream, doing what you love to do. So maybe share with us how you got started.
Um, yeah, I mean, like I was saying, I've definitely far exceeded what I thought I would actually do, because I think you always have that pessimistic side, that you're kind of like, I don't know, especially when you're doing something that seems crazy. But I grew up in the small little town of about, well, it's grown since I've been there. Now it's almost up to 2,000 people. But when I was there, it was probably about 1,000, maybe in the 80s, 70s, 80s. I graduated in 90. And I'm not sure how many exact kids we had, but we had about 50.
You had 50 in your class?
So somewhere in there, give or take. Um,
And you probably knew everybody in your class, their brother,
oh,
their
yeah.
sister, where they, oh yeah. I can relate. I can relate.
Yeah, uh, I still keep in contact with most of them, and I still know them. Like, I can look at old pictures, and I'll see somebody, and I haven't seen them since seventh grade, and I remember their whole name.
That's
I
cool.
remember, and I can't remember half the band, people I've met through the music. I have a hard time, but I can remember them, and I can see their face 9 times, and I know exactly who it is.
So when
So
when
it's just,
when did you start playing drums? I mean, you start playing drums right away when you were young, or?
to be honest, I don't remember. I there wasn't like I've always done it. I don't remember like one day going, oh yeah, I'm gonna start playing drums. Mom, give me a drum set, kind of thing. It's just kind of like when I was little, I was always banging on stuff, and then my aunt, my mom's sister, she had a snare drum and a stand, and it had a record player, and it was those old vinyl record players that was like, it looked like a little briefcase,
Yeah.
and you could flip it up, and it had the speakers on the side, and I
Yep.
got that, and then I got a Kiss record. They gave me a Kiss record, and it changed my life. I remember
Detroit
seeing that.
Rock City, right?
It was actually, I,
Or Love Gun. I'm trying to think
I
which
think it
one
was
I
Love, might
had.
have been Love Gun. Well, I remember Love Gun because the album cover was such a,
Yeah.
because all the girls and the women, and I was, oh, what's that?
Yeah, yeah.
But and then that just kind of like stuck, and then I started listening to the Motley Crue and White Snake, all the stuff, that 80s
Right.
metal and stuff. And then I got into speed metal. And then I was in marching band, and I took every band class I could because that kept me out of the other classes.
Right.
I
Right.
was
Right.
like, I got jazz band, marching band, symphonic band, I had all kinds of band classes. But I got turned on to jazz. That when I started to listening to big band swing music, that's when something happened. Something changed in me, and I started listening to that. And then I started really focusing on the theory of music. And then I ended up getting a scholarship, full tuition scholarship to the University of Central Oklahoma in Edmond, which is about Oklahoma City.
Okay.
And it's
Okay.
predominantly, it, a lot of educators come out of that school. So music wise, that's a popular school because they produce a lot of music teachers. And because that's kind of, if you're not a professional musician and you're a music major, I'm not sure what else you're going to be but a teacher.
So
And so,
when you head off, not to interrupt, but when you headed off,
mm,
when you took off to go to college, did you have a dream in your mind? I mean, had you always
oh
dreamt
yeah,
of or that you wanted to be in a rock band?
me and my friend were going to work at Jack in the Box. We figured this out when we were in ninth grade. We're going to work at Jack in the Box in Hollywood. We're going to, that way we can get free ultimate cheeseburgers, and we'll be able to live like that. And, we had it figured out. And obviously things changed, but I didn't know that I was actually going to move to Los Angeles because I'd never been to California. I'd never, and then, but when I was in college, I started doing I moved out of that town. Like I said, the day after I graduated, I moved because I had a scholarship, full tuition. I'm going to college. I moved up there and I started playing in the big band swing band there in the marching band at the university. But then I got a gig playing in a cover band, and we were playing 4 nights a week, doing like 10 o'clock to 2 in the morning or 9 to 1, and beer tabs. And I'm like 18, and they don't think that I'm underage, so I'm drinking and so, but I'm playing drums, and the next thing you know, after the end of the night, they're like, "Yeah, here's $150." I'm like, "What?" And then I'm doing this tomorrow and the next night and the next night, I'm like, oh my God, I'm making $100 of one of these shows. Sometimes make 50, sometimes it depends on how much you drink, to be
Yeah,
honest.
you're right.
But that's what it was in the cover band scene and the bar bands and stuff. And then obviously when that happened, I kind of thought I made it. I'm getting paid to play drums, and school started slipping, and I couldn't play. What's an 18-year-old 19-year-old kid gonna do?
Oh
Is he
yeah,
gonna go to school, or is he gonna be making money, drinking, partying, playing, living the dream kind of thing?
living the
What I thought.
dream, and I'm sure you had an entourage of ladies following you around.
Well, yeah, I'm an 18, 19-year-old kid,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
for sure.
and we're playing a lot of fraternity houses and sorority houses and stuff at the University of Oklahoma in Norman at the time. And we used to play across the street from the football field there. And this is back when they weren't that good then. This is 90, 91, 92. But we played across the street because they didn't sell alcohol there. So we played across the street. We'd sit up in the parking lot and we'd play for tips. And
Oh
we'd make
wow.
$500-600. I mean, it was, I didn't get any better than that to me. So obviously my grades, and I was showing for school, and I'm on a full tuition scholarship. And then one day, a friend of mine calls me who moved out to LA. He played bass with me in one of the cover bands. He moved to LA because he knew somebody out there. But he called me and he was like, "Hey man, you need to come out here, and you can live with me. I've got a band. We need a drummer. It's a funk band. We got gigs." And I'm like, "Oh God, moved to LA. I got to quit school," which I was kind of knew that was going to happen because of the situation I put myself in.
Well, let me ask you this before you go. Did you have to deal with mom and dad and what mom and dad was going to say? I mean, that could create a little
Actually,
bit of conflict.
it was, but it wasn't. It wasn't. Neither one of them went to college. Nobody in my family really went to college. My sister ended up going through the GI when she was a military, and now
Hmm.
she works for NASA. Um, but I mean, me obviously having a 12-year-old son, if he told me, Dad, he gets a full tuition scholarship, and he tells me I'm going to quit to be a professional Xbox player, I'm like, no, you're not. Not on a full scholarship. But they were not happy, but they were like, because they were also, even though I was making that money from those gigs, they were helping pay my rent, paying, helping out, because as long as I go to school, they'll help me out. Well, they were like, all right, well, you go to LA, good luck. Basically, that's kind of it. You're cut off. I mean, we love you to death. And if it changes and you come back, but my dad, they had a divorce a few years when I was in high school, but I remember my dad telling me, he's like, if you're going to do it, you better do it now. And I'll never forget that. It's probably the most important thing anybody's ever said to me. If you're going
Yeah.
to do it now. Because one thing I realized through all this, it doesn't matter how good I am at the drums or how good anybody is at guitar or bass or, if you're a musician, it doesn't really matter. It's all about who you're going to run into that day. Who's going to walk into this place that you're going to bump in and you're going to get to know somehow. Or you're going to, who is this person? Because it's everything in life is networking, whatever it is. That's one thing.
Right.
Now I look back at college. I'm like, if you want to get an education, if you want to get a trade, if you want to learn about, you want to be a doctor, sure. But if a lot of that stuff, other than doctor, obviously, but a trade, you can learn online. You go to college to meet the people that are going to shape your future. You go to college to meet the people that are going to help you, who you're going to help in return. That's all this is. And through life, that's one thing I figured out, because what happened to me was I moved out to LA. I got a job working in Hollywood at Guitar Center on Sunset Boulevard from this little town in Oklahoma. And now I'm working on Sunset Boulevard. This was back when there was prostitutes. It was like Hollywood.
Right.
Because they cleaned it up. They've cleaned it up a lot since then. But I remember just like being in there and seeing Andrew Dice Clay coming in there. I saved him from getting his car towed, and he just became my best friend. I ended up giving him drum lessons. He was a drummer. A lot of people don't know that. Dice is a drummer.
Oh, wow.
But, just kind of surreal things like that. And one day I was in the drum department working, and this two people walked in, and they were in a band called 11. And how I knew them was I had the cassette tape because I saw them on Beavis and Butthead 2 nights before I moved to LA. And they were on remember that show, Beavis and Butthead?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I remember exactly. We kind of look like them.
Yeah.
No, I remember seeing them on there, or seeing that video, and they were making fun of it or doing whatever they do. And I was like, oh, it's kind of cool though. And I saw the cassette when I stopped off, because I'm driving to LA from Oklahoma. It's 2 days. I need some tunes. So I got Elvis Costello Greatest Hits, and I got that 11 cassette. And now it's kind of serendipitous.
Isn't
I don't know
funny?
what the word is you want to use, but
no.
yeah,
It's called synchronicity,
exactly.
Man. That's just fate.
Synchronicity. But so I listened to that cassette, and Elvis Costello. I probably listened to that 10 times in that 2-day trip. So I loved it. But they walked in the store, 2 of them, because there's 3 of them in the band, but 2 of them walked in, and it was a guy and a girl, Alan and Natasha. And they walked in, and I recognized them. I'm like, oh, you're 11, right? I know who you are. And they're like, yeah. And they were kind of surprised by that. And I helped them. I remember they were looking for a tabla instructional DVD. They wanted the Indian drums, the tablas, like the. So I helped them out, and then they said, yeah, our drummer, he joined Pearl Jam. I'm like, oh, okay. And I was like, and I was totally doing the pitch. I'm like, hey, I'm a drummer. I just moved out here. I'm looking, because they were on a record deal. They were on Hollywood Records and everything. And I wrote my number down, and I gave it to them, and I was like, oh my God. And looking back at it, I'm like, who finds their drummer at Guitar Center? Nobody really does, but especially in Hollywood. But I kind of let it go, and a couple of weeks went by, and all of a sudden I got a phone call, and it was Alan. He was like, hey, you want to come down and jam, and we'll check it out? And I was like, yeah. And I got down there, and I was playing with them, and it was amazing to me, just the auditioning, just to be able to hang with them. It was a trip, because that was like the first time I'd ever done anything with people that were on TV, kind of, and
it's big time.
And I remember that. Yeah, and they played some weird. I remember that we were playing through a couple of their songs that they knew, and they were like, all right, we'll play something to this. And they had this weird time signature. It was an odd song. And my jazz background, I counted it out in my theory, and I started understanding what was going on, and I started playing, and I nailed it. And that's when I knew. I was like, okay, that was good. I don't know who else is coming in here to audition. I'd been in LA very briefly. To put into context, I tell people, because I remember the white Bronco chase, the O.J. Simpson thing. Obviously, you remember that.
Oh, yeah,
I was in a cover band. Right. I was in a cover band in Oklahoma City. I was still in Oklahoma City, because I remember setting up my drums, watching it on TV. And then when the verdict was read, I was already on tour.
With 11.
with 11. About to go on tour with Soundgarden. So in that's how fast it was. It seemed like forever to me in the time now, but that's how quick it was. And because people go out there and never, and like I said, that's how it happened. A random chance meeting, go down there, and then it's always been that. It's always been that because of that band, they ended up touring with Soundgarden. Well, was after that, Chris Cornell did a solo record, and I've ended up playing with him. He basically hired our band. After that, the Audio Slave thing happened. He joined a band called Audio Slave, and then the other two members of 11 went on to join Queens of the Stone Age. And then I went to an audition with Puddle of Mudd, and as soon as I walked in, the bass player was like, "Hey, you were with Chris Cornell in 11." And so he knew me. He remembers seeing me. So that was already, and then I got in that band. And then next thing you know, we're Puddle of Mudd. We're touring with Three Doors Down. Their drummer leaves. I see Puddle of Mudd. I mean, the addiction that we were going through was pretty difficult.
Pretty bad.
And I saw a way out of it with those guys. So everything has just kind of been like all through who you know. It's so true. It's like, and because I tell people, if you want to play in a band or whatever, and you find yourself at home on a Friday night, that was your first mistake. You got to get out there. You got to just put yourself out there, because
you got to be around people.
But that, yeah, exactly. But that exactly with anything in your work and my work and my wife's work and everybody's work, it's all about doing that.
So for all the guys all the people that are watching right now, if you would, I know you played the inauguration, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Three Doors Down was there. What are some of the venues? I mean, where all have you been? You've been all around the world. I mean, what are some of your favorite places that you guys have played?
Japan, Tokyo is up there. Melbourne, Australia, Dubai, and I love Germany and Barcelona. I mean, I love them all. I mean, that's probably the when I look back, when this is all said and done, that's going to be probably my most memorable and awesome experiences, the traveling. The fact that I've been all over the world. I've been to Russia. I played Moscow, St. Petersburg, Poland, South America, Brazil, Mexico, Hawaii, South Africa, Dubai. I played in Iraq for the soldiers, and Tikrit. Played in Australia, Guam. It's like, and I got to do that for my job. And play in front of people, play rock star in front of these people tonight. Pretend I can be whatever.
Yeah, I bet that's cool.
It's kind of cool. I mean, and then to be treated and like the way we get treated by people. It's like I didn't do anything to deserve this. I played drums and people just give me the utmost respect. And for that, I'm so grateful for, because it's one thing when you're Joe Schmo and you go to Germany, you're hanging out with your wife. And it's another thing when you go there and people recognize you, want to take you to Germany, show you what they love. And you're getting local guidance, they're tour guides basically a lot of times that just love to do it because they want to be around you and hang out with you, and a lot of those people become lifelong friends. I've got a friend of mine in Germany who's one of my dearest friends, and he's never lived here. I mean, he's always lived in this little town. It's funny, a little town in Germany called Bad Wimpfen, and I met him at Guitar Center in Hollywood back then, and we've been friends ever since. And we were friends before I ever went to Europe. So when I went there, he was taking me everywhere. I mean, I went to a restaurant that he took me to, was a 13th generation chef owner. Think about that.
Oh, really?
13th generation restaurant. There's a restaurant, and they don't have menus. They have supper. You go to this restaurant, and they bring you the big beer steins and add schnitzel and all. Incredible. I mean, who gets to do stuff like that? That's
well,
crazy.
hey, anybody that's watched Three Doors Down, and anybody, I'm not to interrupt you, but I want to make sure I get all of this in here, because we could talk for an hour easily. I'd love to talk to you some more. Maybe we could do another one sometime. But
sure.
anybody that's watched you play, you beat the hell out of the drums. I mean, you just, that's why I put the guy with the big
Yeah.
stick as the name, but
Well,
I mean,
well.
obviously age is going to catch up with you eventually.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
it caught up with me big time.
yeah,
Uh, oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that was that got real serious. That got scary when I thought, because what it is when I used to go watch like bands play, Tommy Lee, I always go back to him. He used to swing his arms way back, and it was awesome to watch. And then you watch other drummers, and they were just back there, playing, and you just kind of like their forethought. You know, I wanted to be the drummer where you couldn't keep your eyes off of it. I wanted to steal the show. That's how I've
center of
always
attraction,
been around.
right?
I just wanted to be like, I wanted to be a distraction almost to that point. But I wanted people to, I mean, because going back, because I mean, that's what people, I want to be remembered for something. Because there's a
Hmm.
lot of people, that aren't. And the people that see us play are going to be like, I'll never forget watching that dude do that. That's what I want to be. I don't even care if you know my name. I want you to remember that, because it's a memory that you're going to have. You'll forget my name. You're not going to forget what you saw on stage that night, though.
Yeah, yeah,
So I wanted to make sure I put that, and now obviously I can't quite do that like I used to, you know, and it's fine. But there was a point that it wasn't an intentional thing for me to change kind of how I play. It was kind of forced upon me by my body's been taking abuse I've been playing drums, like I said, since I can remember, but playing like I play, a good almost 2 decades of beating the hell out of them.
right, right, right.
I was never in a band where I didn't. Three Doors Down is actually the closest band I've ever been to where I didn't beat the hell out of them. And then but I'm known for it through Three Doors Down because they're obviously a much more popular band than
Hmm.
11 but in 11, that's how I played too. It was really balls,
Right.
intense, heavy. And I remember waking up one day and I couldn't hardly move my arm. and what it was, I thought I slept on it. And it felt just like that. It's, if you fall asleep on your shoulder like that, and you sleep
Right.
and you wake up and all of a sudden your shoulder hurts it down. It's like, oh my God. And that it felt like, that's what I thought it was, but like really bad. And I could raise my hand up. Well, as far as my elbow, I don't know if you can see this, but like I could go about this high, maybe. Like I couldn't wash my hair with my hand. Everything I did was with my left hand. Brush my teeth, deodorant. I tried, deodorant with one hand is pretty tricky. Learned how to, so putting dishes away, picking up anything, it just changed how I did everything. And I went to doctors. I went to Elite Sports Medicine here in Nashville, who do all the Titans and the Predators. Because a friend of ours who's a assistant head coach for the Titans, he's the one who recommended them. He's like, they do. I'm like, who better to go to for something like this than the sports doctor? So I guess I'm getting ahead of myself, but when I play drums, which obviously is the concern at this point,
Right.
how
I
can I
mean,
play?
is this a career-ending injury? I'm sure that's going through
That's
your mind.
Well, I thought it was going to go away. I really did. I just thought it was going to go away. And what I had to do is my cymbals that I hit, they're usually about the top of my head is where I like them when I'm playing my drums. Well, on the right, I had to lower them to about just below my chest. Everything on this side because I couldn't hit them. So, and I had to stop playing like I played with all the big bombastic. I couldn't do that anymore. So if people out there that are Three Doors Down fans that remember this happening at this point, remember me not playing Behind Those Eyes, which is kind of like the song I'm known for as far as being able to do that, because Three Doors Down, their songs aren't really supposed to be like that, but that song is to me. That's how I interpret it. But I had to change or not play it. So that was on for about 2 years like that. And it just kept getting worse. And I was not really talking about it to anybody in the band, because I was worried. I was thinking that, well, is this really going to be the end of my career? Is it really going to end like this? I mean, deep inside my mind, I always knew something was going to happen. But, I mean, you can't play like I do and not expect something to go wrong.
Right,
but
right.
I mean, I didn't think it was going to happen yet, maybe, or something. And I didn't think it was going to be that severe. I didn't think it was. I've never felt pain like that that long. I've broken ankles and things like that, but I've never had something that was so deep and hurting so bad. So anyway, back to the doctor. When I've gone to the doctor, we had MRIs done. It was basically, I was hoping it was something like a bone spur or something that they can go in there and just boom, boom,
And
boom,
fix.
you're good.
Torn rotator or chronic inflammation or
Right.
something like that?
Right. And going back to always scared of the carpal tunnel, because for drummers, that's like the evil word. And it was basically the doctor was saying it's just so inflamed and so swollen in there. That's what it is. It's just arthritis in my shoulder, basically. And I was like, okay, so what do we do? He goes, well, take some ibuprofen and we'll get you a cortisone shot. I'm like, okay. He's like, oh, all right. Well, all right. So by the way, cortisone shots hurt like hell.
Oh, yeah.
If anybody's out there, I've never had one.
I've never had one, but don't want
moly.
to.
I remember they put a screen up in front of me so I could watch the needle going down my shoulder. Went down in my shoulder.
Okay.
And oh my God. And I just remember it got really cold, really fast, and all of a sudden, whew, I was like, nothing. I mean, it was crazy. I was like, it's gone. Oh my God. I was like, that, because I've always heard of cortisone shots. Watching football, you always hear, like, you want to get a cortisone shot, and he's back on the field. You're like, oh my God. Now I was like, oh my, it does do that. It's a miracle cure. Well, the next day goes by, and I was like, I kind of feel it back again. It's kind of, and then the third day, it's fully back. I'm like, well, I got to go get another one. Like, well, you can't have another cortisone shot for, I think it's like 6 months, 5 months, whatever it is.
I was going to say 6 months or something like that.
Yeah, it's not, you can't get another one. So I'm taking the hell out of this ibuprofen. So, how much can I have? Can I just, and I just nothing ever really, after once it came back from the cortisone shot, I couldn't contain it. It's just like, so I went through a little bit of depression, I guess, the anxiety, because I've devoted everything to this. I mean, everything I've done has led me to this. I never had a backup plan. I would have, if I wouldn't have succeeded, if I wouldn't have moved to LA, if I wouldn't have met those people in that store, I might probably be on my way to whatever that plan B is, whatever it is. But I got sidetracked. My A was wide open in that lane. So I took that road, that plan A, and never looked back. Why would anybody look back? And then all of a sudden okay, well, now you're 44 years old and we're going to take it away from you. What are you going to do now? You bought a house, you got a family, you're supporting them through this. What are you going to do now? That scared the hell out of me. And I'm sure,
for sure,
there's a lot of people out there that imagine if something happened in your job or whatever it is, that all of a sudden you can't physically do it, and then you got to change everything. So, I mean, I'm not saying, I mean, it happens all the time, all the time.
So
But
what
it was happening to me.
so what did you do? I mean, obviously something happened because now all of a sudden you're playing again. You're back on the
Well,
road. You're just in from tour, right?
yeah. Well, we were back from tour, and well, my wife, she uh, was making me this drink. I know it sounds crazy. I mean, I thought it was insane. I mean, not, but that this actually worked. Not that I was drinking, because my wife puts anything in front of me. She says, "Drink this." I'm like, "Okay," and I don't even. My wife tells me to drink that. I'm like, "Okay, this is a health drink." She's from California, so I'm like, "Sure." So, and I was drinking one of these things every day, and it tastes like I don't know what it tastes like. It's kind of like wheatgrass. I don't know. That's what it looked like, or it looked like, green or whatever. So I was drinking one every day, and I wasn't drinking it from my shoulder though. That wasn't like the intention, or my wife wasn't here. This is going to help your shoulders. She was just it's a health drink, because I drink coffee all day because when I got sober, which we can go
Right.
into that one on another time too.
Yeah,
I got
yeah,
plenty to talk about on that end.
yeah.
But no, she was just, health drink. So I'm like, okay, it's full of antioxidants or whatever it is. I don't even know, but I'm not. That's how much I'm watching the game. I'll drink it. Okay, I'm watching the game. So about, I don't know, a month or so. I don't know. I didn't mark it on my calendar when I started drinking this thing, but I remember putting the dishes away one day, and I reached up and I put out of the dishwasher, and I remember it was the white glass bowls. I remember sitting up because in that second one and right behind, it's kind of an awkward spot. And I just did it. And I was like, oh my God. I was just like, that. I didn't feel it. I did not feel it. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. And I'm like, and I started to slowly, just kind of like slowly, where is it? I know it's, it has to be still there. And I couldn't find that pain. And it was, it maybe it was a gradual process,
Hmm.
but I didn't recognize it till all of a sudden I was being able to do things. I was shampooing. I was it was weird. It felt like all of a sudden it felt like my hand had been in a cast, because now I got it back in this weird way. So, and at this point, I'm still not connecting the dots with the drink. I'm not. I don't know what that is. That's what it is. Because I just realized I'm okay. I'm telling my wife, and she doesn't even say, "Oh, that's that thing." It's the strength. She doesn't say that. Well, she might have actually, but I didn't believe her. You know, I'm like a
Right,
real. I mean,
right,
I don't. I'm not very much a holistic and essential
right,
oils and
right.
all. I'm from Oklahoma, bro. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
take aspirin. I mean, BC powder maybe on occasion. That's about it. But so anyway, I go out on the road and I'm like,
So
okay,
you
here's
were
the test.
okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so okay, I'm going on the
Yeah.
road. I'm like, and I'm telling my drum tech, I'm like, put the cymbals back up. I want to see. I feel like I can do it. He's like, are you sure? And so I started going. I'm back to normal, man. And I'm going the road and I'm going, and it's so happy, and so for me, it just the release that, oh my God, I don't know what. Thank you, God. Whatever it is, that's how I was. Whatever it was, I felt like he blessed me, and he was like, something happened. Thank you. Well, when I was on the road, my wife gave me all those drinks to drink, and of course, she's like, "Are you drinking a drink?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah." I mean, I, left to my own, I'm not making this thing. You know what I mean? I'm like, but well, needless to say,
I
it
mind
came
you,
back.
be careful, be careful, be careful what you say because I see your wife jumping in here on comments, so she's watching. So be careful what you're saying. Just thought I'd give you
Okay,
a
she
heads
knows.
up.
Well, yeah. No, what happened was I really wasn't, but obviously it came back, And that's when my wife was like, well, you start drinking that drink. I was like, okay. So I made, you know, and I'll never forget, I drank the first one, and by the time I went on stage, it was gone. I was like, oh my God, it's this stuff. Whatever this is. I don't know what it is. And that's when I'm like, what is this? You know, I'm like, that's when now I'm like paying attention, because before she's made it for me and it's just in this bottle and she just sets it there. I don't know what's in it. You know, it's green. But then now I'm like, what is it? And I started Googling and I'm like, Moringa oleifera. I'm like, what the hell is Moringa oleifera? I've never heard of it, you know? And I started looking at it and I'm started reading about all this stuff. And I'm like, why have I never heard of this? You know what I mean? That's the first thing I'm thinking of, is like, it's got 10,000 times more vitamin C than an orange, or what. I mean, I'm throwing it around.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, more vitamin D than the sun or whatever. You know, I'm like, oh my God. So I started drinking it, and then it's never been back.
It's never been back. So
I'm not going to stop drinking it.
that's pretty awesome, Greg. And, you know, if anybody wants some information about what Greg does drink, if you just drop a question down in the comment box, I'm sure he'll respond to you, or I'll respond to you and we'll get you more information on it. But
it's liquid gold.
It's liquid gold for sure. And yeah, it's giving you your life back. And that's pretty impressive.
Well, but the thing is that, but I don't even get sick. I don't even get colds. I haven't had a cold in 2 years. I mean, and I'm playing that song again, Behind Those Eyes. I'm playing it just like I used to. And
that's
so,
cool.
I mean, it's just like it never happened. Like those 2 years were kind of like they're weird. And then also, I'm telling you, you should talk to is my mother, who's 82, who started drinking this stuff, and she's off the charts. Like, she was with her at our benefit that we did this year, and she's in the casino drinking, and she likes to have a bourbon. But she's up there she's partying with the Collective Soul guys, the band that we were in tour with. She's like, and everyone's like, your mother's awesome. She's great. I mean, she's 82 and she's flying all around the place. And I'm like, if you would have saw her 3 years ago or 2 years ago, before she started drinking that stuff, she was not like that. She could barely get down my stairs in my house. And now she's out there. I mean, she was practically dancing. I remember she had her jeans on, talking about her butt in her jeans. Like, look at the 82-year-old. You know, she's just a blast. She's so much fun.
Well, hey, Greg,
I'm so glad that she got it, though. I'm glad that she's been taking it, and I keep her on it. But anyway, yeah.
Well, I hate to wind this up. Maybe we got to get back on and do a part 2 or something like it, because we could talk forever.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah, we drag this on too long and people don't want to stay on. I mean, but as you close it out, I mean, you're talking about Moringa oleifera, and obviously for those watching it, Moringa oleifera is pretty incredible. Just Google it sometime. Like he said, just ask Google what the most nutrient-dense plant in the world is, and you'll find out it's Moringa oleifera. One of the things you want to be careful of is there's a lot of moringa on the marketplace today. I mean, it's starting to become more and more popular. You want to make sure you do your research, do a little bit of investigation. Just don't go buy anything off the shelf, because you might be sorely surprised or amazed that you don't get what you really need. Like I said, Greg would share with I'm back. Sorry, I kind of lost bad connection there. But we'll gladly share information with you. Just drop down in the box and we'll send you a video, give you some information. But Greg, as you wind it up, is this something you'll continue to do? And when do you start on tour again? Where are you guys headed to next?
Well, we're done for the rest of the year. We got shows. We're going to start next year. We're going to go back out on doing our acoustic tours, acoustic shows, excuse me, which are so much fun. It's just a different thing. It's like hearing the songs the way I think that, especially with Three Doors Down, where the songs really fit in the right spot. You know, acoustic, where the crowd can sit there and just listen. You don't have to jump up and go crazy and scream and holler. Just listen. You know what I mean?
Are you coming to Ohio?
And it's like I said, I don't know where I'm going to be from one day to the next. I know that I'm going to Oklahoma because I've already had my friends calling me going, hey, man, I see you're coming to town. You know, and so I'll be definitely seeing a lot of my friends in Oklahoma. So I'm always excited about Oklahoma shows because I love that state. I can't help it. It's just where I'm from,
That's
and
awesome.
but
Yep.
yeah, I'm sure we'll be in Ohio because Ohio is, rock and roll capital to me. I mean,
That's right,
we've
brother.
never had a bad.
It's the heart of it
I've never
all.
had a bad show in Ohio. There's never been a bad show in any band I've ever been in. Never had a bad show except for one show in Toledo with Puddle of Mud, and that was our singer's fault. I'll just leave it at that. That was
Yeah,
that's going to
yeah.
be on that's our next interview. I'm telling you, I got a ton of stories, bro.
Oh man, I'd
I
love to
got
hear
a
some of them.
lot.
A lot of them. Well, hey, we're going to wind this up, and like I mentioned before, if you got any questions about the swamp water that you're drinking, just drop a comment down there in the comment box, and we'll get back to you. And hey, I'll be looking for you, man. I'll be getting some tickets myself. Maybe give me a backstage pass, huh? We got,
Oh please,
oh
that's why
please.
there is nothing going on backstage. I swear to God, it is
Oh, you
so funny.
guys are too old.
The best thing about backstage is you get your own bathroom.
Yeah, yeah. You
You
don't
know,
have to wait in line.
and plus we're sober now, so our dressing room, we got tons of water and bubbly waters and buy drinks and all that stuff, and so it's like nuts, Cheez-Its is about as I put M&Ms on the rider, so we had a lot of M&Ms, but yeah, it's like you can bring your kids backstage and it'd be just fine, like your toddlers
Awesome.
even. I mean, it's pretty. That's the appeal and the reason. Also, one of the main reasons I went to Three Doors Down is because I wanted to have a family. I wanted to do this and have some sort of longevity. I was tired of partying.
Awesome. Well, that's good news. Well, hey, buddy, thank you so much. And I want to, he's a New Orleans Saints fan. I'm a Bengals fan. So obviously, I can't really
Ooh,
talk
boy,
about football here
that's a
after
good game.
last weekend, right? Maybe for you it was. I turned it off at halftime. Don't know that I have any reason.
I can't believe we're doing this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, well, hey, buddy, thanks a lot. We got to do this again. I really appreciate your time this evening. Nice to talk to you. Have a good evening.
All right, you too. Good night.
Good night, bud.